Happy Venus Day, everybody. Welcome to this week's Love Energy Pick a Card Tarot reading. I hope you all are doing amazing. So this week, as always, we have two different segments. The first segment is going to be a pick a card reading for those of you who are married or in established connections. And the second segment is a pick a card reading for those of you who are single or find yourself in a situationship. So please access the timestamps in the description box and the comment thread down below, and I will see you there. All right, see you in just a sec. Alrighty, so this segment is for those of you who are married or in established relationships. So we have three piles. We are using an orange calcite, a fluorite, and a rose quartz. So go ahead and take a moment and fill your way through this. Not everyone always feels inspired. That's perfectly fine. You can always just randomly select a pile, and I'm sure there will likely be a useful message in there for you somewhere. So again, timestamps are found in the description box and the comment thread down below, so you can quickly jump to your pile. All right, see you in just a sec. All right, pile number one, you guys selected the orange calcite, so let's go ahead and see what comes through for pile number one. Okay. Oh, we got a whole bunch of cards. Okay, I wasn't expecting that many, but we will take them. Kind of feel like that one also wanted to come out too. Okay. You know, yesterday, today, tomorrow, like the next few days, they may be coming out, or you may be experiencing them with a little bit of a sharper edge, okay? Because we've got the moon was in Pisces yesterday, and today it's conjunct Neptune in Pisces. Pluto is basically not moving at all. He's stationing direct. He'll be going direct, stationing direct officially tomorrow, and then starting to change direction. And then we also have the Sun and Venus over in Libra in an opposition with Chiron. So I'm not saying it's like the worst time in the world. It's just like the energy may be a little bit heftier, a little bit heavier, or there may have to be certain acceptances, right? You are needing to accept something about your life. Your partner is needing to accept something about their life, or each of you are having to accept something about your relationship itself. But that Ten of Swords tells me that there is some kind of an ending that is imminent, which I think is great, because something has clearly gone on for far too long, right? Ten of Swords indicates kind of like an overkill, right? Something has been lived out too many times. The narrative has run through your mind too many times, and it's become a liability. It's become a hindrance. It's prevented you from growing and evolving, or it's prevented you from stepping out of a specific patterning in your life. I think generally speaking, everybody is feeling really, really ready for their circumstances that they're not happy with to change. And a lot of people have hit up against substantial roadblocks in terms of, well, how do I change those things? But there is an element of being set free with this Fool card, and then with the Six of Wands, there's a quality of victory and success. So what's coming next for you and you in your partnership is kind of a whole new way about going about doing things. You may start to love in a different way, or to receive love in a different way. You may start communicating differently. You may start approaching something energetically a little bit differently. And with that Two of Cups, there is this suggestion that it's going to work out really well, and that you and your partner, that both of you will actually be very happy about the changes. And that as this Wheel of Fortune starts to turn, I love the Wheel of Fortune with the Fool, because it does feel like a breath of fresh air. And maybe that's what some of us are really needing, is a breath of fresh air within our connections. We are needing something new and fresh and novel, and something never experienced before. We need new levels of stability, and we need new levels of growth. We need new levels of adventure, new levels of stimulation, right? And so I see a lot of this new, fresh stuff really coming up. maybe not like this week, but I think it's beginning as Pluto turns around and starts to make his way into Aquarius for the first time in like 250 years. So this is a very exciting time, although the turnaround between now and March may feel a little slow and drawn out, specifically through October. But we look at the Ace of Coins and we say there are going to be amazing opportunities that come out of this turnaround right now. And I like the word turnaround because the Wheel of Fortune often turns things around. So there are good potentials that are going to come out of this. There are really high quality opportunities that will present themselves to you. And when I say you, I mean you and your coupling. Now, some people may be in relationships with people who don't want to leave this. All right. Now, this may not resonate with everybody because some people don't want to leave the comfort of their Ten of Swords because it requires them to go about doing things in a way that is uncomfortable and maybe a lot more vulnerable. There may be a lot more exposure, and they tend to shrink away or hide away from that. And I don't know that it's going to be for everybody. And so this is a real test of relationships right now within the next 6 months is, will a relationship survive as we prepare for this entirely new era that is presenting itself when Pluto enters into Aquarius? Those of you in solid relationships will experience exponential growth. You may, some of you may get pregnant or have children. Some of you may enhance your lifestyle in some way. There may be new financial opportunities that you both can reap the rewards of. There may just be overall increase in multiple areas of your life. And that can be obviously a really exciting time. But right now, as Libra season tries to balance the scales, and as we move on into Scorpio season, as Scorpio is a fixed or a solid energy, really tries to maintain the goodness. And I know we talk a lot about the evilness of Scorpio, but there is this desire to preserve the good and the innocent and the pure. And so those things that work, those things that that originally brought the two of you together to begin with, I feel like many of you will go through a revival and an enhancement of those things, while the things that don't work or the things that are hindering the progress of the relationship will fall by the wayside. Queen of Coins is a patient energy, though, and there is a quality of faith, knowing that when seeds are planted, that it will take time for those seeds to bear fruit. This right now is a matter of the people who survive, the couples who survive this particular moment in time are going to be the ones that understand how things unfold, right? Because if you don't understand how things unfold, you can very quickly you can do this fool thing, but then quickly realize that it can spin out of control. And then you try to gain control of it. And when you try to gain control of something, you slow it down, right? And so by slowing it down, hindering, pulling back, shrinking, it's kind of like there's let's say this is a situation where you're like maybe falling in love with someone again, or you're starting to trust someone again, or you're developing new levels of trust. But then all of a sudden your mind kicks in and says, well, that's a little unsafe. It's too unsafe to trust that person. It's too unsafe to fall in love like that. It's too unsafe to let yourself open up like that. So you immediately scrunch back and hold everything back. That could be detrimental to this particular opening or flowering process. And that's the Ten of Swords kind of coming in and saying, we want to stay exactly where we are. We want things to not evolve. We want things to remain the same. And that can be, I think, something that a person may regret later on, especially when you look here and you're like, wow, there are so many benefits and blessings and so much is turning around and there's so much, gold or profit or wealth or abundance or prosperity, whatever. I'm using those words more metaphorically because I know this is a love reading, but there's so much abundance if I do finally allow myself to be free from my 10 of Swords, allowing yourself to live an easier life, to live a life where you're not so on guard all the time, Let's pull out a couple of oracle cards here for you. So we're going to do nurture. All right, I love that because there is that quality of putting time and attention into something. And in a relationship, putting time and energy into a relationship can often lead to this Wheel of Fortune, Two of Cups, growth and expansion time. By dedicating energy to one another, by listening to one another, by hearing each other out, by allowing each other to express their fears and concerns and their insecurities, especially with this full moon coming up conjunct Chiron. A lot of that stuff may be surfacing. And people are just looking for a safe haven. They're just looking for a place where they can feel free to be weak. So that when they emerge into the world, they can be strong. They need someone they can trust to talk to. They need someone that they can trust to work out an issue with them so that it sort of relieves them of that burden. Now, that may be you, it may be your partner, it may be both of you. But this is a time to really come together and say, what's holding us back here? What's preventing us from really coming together and sharing these deep levels of intimacy? And those are the things that might be hindering us in other areas, like with our jobs and with our finances and with, just our general life experience. You are lifting the veil of illusion and becoming more conscious of the world around you. Sometimes within relationships, it's easy to construct illusions that everything is okay and everything is fine and everything is going to work out okay. And sometimes by sitting down in this Two of Cups fashion and really having a heart-to-heart, or what we like to say, a come-to-Jesus moment, right? Where we really just lay it all out on the table. And this is not in a blaming or a pointing the finger kind of way. This is not about judgmentalism, criticism, anything like that. It's more like us against the world type of thing. You're lifting the veil of illusion, becoming more conscious of the world around you. You, within the relationship, are becoming more truthful, in essence. And the more truthful you can be in a connection, the more truthfully and purely you can live your lives. So I think this is a great week of turnaround for a lot of people. Relationships highly affected because it is Libra season and because Venus is involved with this full moon opposite Chiron as well. And then later on, Mercury is going to be moving into Libra as well, which is the day after the full moon, which is the 10th, which means that this Two of Cups is going to be very plausible, right? Communicating for the sake of resolution, communicating to establish balance, to come back into an equilibrium, however you want to refer to it as. I really do like a Mercury in Libra because it's not so emotional. There's not a lot of emotion in the chart, with the exception of the moon, but that will be gone in the next couple of days. There's not so much emotion, so we actually can be a lot more logical with things, which sometimes can be good. Okay? All right, Pile 1, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. I love and adore you. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 2. You guys selected the fluorite, so let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, well, we like temperance. Okay. All right, right now, the next week, it's a really good time to just take everything day by day. What I see with this water being poured from one cup to the other is that two people right now may be asked to find some kind of an equal point. Now, that's kind of a no-brainer given the fact that it's Libra season. We've got Venus in Libra as well. Two people trying to find balance within the relationship. Two people trying to find a way to each get their needs met, right? But with the King of Cups, there's a particularly strong emotional, or rather an emotional strength coming out, high levels of emotional intelligence, meaning right now, I don't think it is possible for people to like pretend that everything is one way when in fact it is another way. It's a little too transparent. It's a little too obvious from an energetic perspective. So either you are able to read your partner very well, or they are able to read you very well, or both. You're both able to read each other very well. And it's not possible to really hide anything. Not that you would want to, but, sometimes, right now in the sky, like yesterday, today, tomorrow, it's just a very exposed period of time because the moon is coming conjunct Neptune, it's leaving Pisces, and then it's going to be in a full moon conjunct Chiron. So I've been calling these the camel humps the past couple of years because Pluto and Chiron both can have that level of exposure. And we feel particularly raw and vulnerable when these transits occur. And so if we are having things surface for us, like emotional stuff from our past, feelings of insecurity, feelings of being unseen or being underappreciated or whatever it is, that is going to be written all over your face and your aura, right? And vice versa with your partner. So the way to really deal with that is just, first of all, you're going to have a conversation about it. Pages can often bring a lot of communication as they are messengers. But there's also an action component with that Page of Wands as well. It's not enough to just talk about it. There are going to have to be certain behavioral adjustments as well. Because clearly, Seven of Coins, there is some point of dissatisfaction. It's like you're working and you're working and you're working. Now, this may or may not have anything to do with the relationship. Like it could be that you're working really, really, really hard in your job and not getting the recognition that you would like. And that may be something that you're carrying home with you. Or there may be a financial situation that you can't quite seem to overcome. And that could be coming in as well. See, this is what I mean with the water. It's just like there's no boundary for the two of you right now. All right. So it's probably best to just like confront the issue, lay it all out on the table, have the conversation about it, and figure out logical next steps that you can take that may help to rectify the situation. Okay, because we've got the Tower card. Tower obviously is a card of change. Now, this is a little bit more aggressive than, say, even the Death card, because it's a little bit more abrupt. Something abrupt may need to occur, and maybe something internally, something you both decide to do, or maybe there's an external circumstance that feels beyond your control, but it is stimulating change within your life and within your partnership. We are approaching the end of a very challenging era in our lives. Okay, we've had Neptune in Pisces for over a decade. We've had, or it will be by the end of the transit, we've had Pluto in Capricorn since 2008. So when we really think about it, the late, like 2008, 2009, 2010, 11, and 12-ish, all right? It has been very heavy, right? We've had a lot of earth and water. That's about to change when Pluto comes into Aquarius and Neptune moves into Aries in 2026. All right, that's really about to change, and we're going to have a lot of air and fire, which means things are going to move a lot faster. We're going to have a greater ability to accomplish and achieve and to do things, but we still have to kind of deal with the stuff that's left over. So within a relationship, the two of you may have to have a very real heart to heart, and it may change the course of your relationship moving forward. Now, I always say this is like the Wheel of Fortune in disguise. This is never a bad thing. It's just that this needs to break in order for the Wheel of Fortune to turn over. It's like this is what is clogging the wheel, if you will. So we have to remove that. And it can be scary. It can be something that we don't necessarily want to have to address. And it may mean that we have to do things that we may not necessarily want to do. But it's like, well, we know we need to do them. You know, there's very much like coming out of a fairy tale world right now in having to deal with the real stuff so that we can adjust our behavior accordingly, so that we can ensure our ultimate prosperity and our ultimate sort of win, if you will. If you are in a partnership where someone is holding back or being really secretive, or maybe both of you are, that may result in a very challenging period of time as well, meaning maybe there is a split for some of you, or maybe there is this period of time where people make some bad choices. So I think coming together is the best choice. But if you are feeling that your partner is pulling away, or you're feeling like you need to pull away from your partner, or you need to isolate and deal with it on your own, you know, there could be certain resentments that build up. So ultimately, you know, for those of you watching, it may be in your best interest to be the initiator and say, hey, we really need to clear the air and talk about some stuff. We need to kind of figure out what's going on here and make some sort of a game plan and kind of put together a strategy that we're both on board with, so we can kind of work through this together. People in relationships that are trying to do things on their own right now, it's a little counterproductive to the fact that it's Libra season. So it doesn't mean you're going to lose yourself in the process. It doesn't mean you're losing anything. It just means that you are going to have to integrate with someone else. I kind of see that here, okay? So let's pull out some oracles, see what else comes through. Change your focus. I love that. Changing the focus to the thing that really needs to be focused on. You know, sometimes there's an issue, and maybe we avoid that issue by making it about something that it's really not about. The issue that you're dealing with really doesn't have anything to do with your partners. It doesn't have anything to do with your relationship. All right, but coming together within the connection can help you actually focus more clearly, because then you hold each other accountable for things. I really don't know that doing things on your own is the best solution right now. I really don't. For those who are single, maybe it's a different story, but if you're here, you're not single. So I don't know. I feel like the stars are guiding us to be very real with ourselves. You know, there aren't a lot of illusions at play. There's so much to discover about yourself. Change your focus. There's so much to discover about yourself. I actually think this full moon will be really healing, because you are going to choose to go about doing something in a different way. The choice of behavior here is a big deal. Conscious choice, active choice. It's not just about, I'm kind of getting like a flailing energy. This is not about flailing. All right, this is about streamlined, laser-like focus toward the real problem or the real point of discontentment, and not projecting anything within the connection if it isn't truly the issue, okay? It's kind of like I'm kind of seeing the two of you on the inside with your eyes pointed outside, and you're both looking toward the same thing, which is better than you over here and them over here looking at each other, when you each, that's not the issue. It's that thing over there. Okay? All right, you guys, I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you have a great week. Good luck with Pluto direct and the full moon. I really wish you nothing but the best. Have an amazing week. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. You guys selected the rose quartz. So let's go ahead here and take a look. Page of Swords, 7 of Swords, 5 of Cups. Okay. So you as an individual may just be going through, I think there's a lot of stuff surfacing for us right now. Okay, we have the sun officially in opposition with Chiron today, although it is coming off of that opposition. We have Venus building up to that opposition. We have a full moon coming into a conjunction with Chiron, which means it's coming together with. But as of today, it's coming conjunct Neptune, which can bring out a lot of emotional stuff as well. We also have Pluto basically stationing direct, although that's officially happening tomorrow. Pluto's basically standing still, getting ready to change direction. And I feel like more than anything, you want freedom from something. It may not be from your relationship, but it may be from a situation, whether it's financial or something with your family or something at work or whatever. You're wanting very badly to be free from something, but here's all this like, no, I can't let it go. Let me see what else comes out. It's like, yeah, I can't let it go, or I'm not ready, or it doesn't feel right, or I'm scared, or I can't afford it, or, there's all sorts of reasons as to why. Partnership right now may be offering a great deal of stability, kind of letting you go through this I feel like a partnership, those of you in partnerships, your partner is like pretty solid, okay? They seem to be the rock in the situation right now, which is great because sometimes you need to be the rock, sometimes they need to be the rock. And I feel like this person offers you a lot of hope right now at a time when maybe you're just really not feeling that hopeful. You're not feeling hopeful that a solution can truly be found, right? And maybe you are beating yourself up being like, how do I fix this? And I have been saying that with the sky, being solution oriented right now is kind of inevitable. We had a heavy Virgo energies. We had a lot of Gemini, right? We still got Mars slowing down in Gemini. So the question of like, well, how do I solve this? How do I get out of this? How do I move? How do I do X, Y, or Z? That's been pretty prominent in our minds. But right now, I don't know that you're coming up with any kind of an answer other than falling backwards into something that you were originally trying to get away from anyway. And so now you're like, wait a second, I don't want my solution to be my old comfort zone because I worked so hard to get out of that comfort zone, and I don't want to fall back, but I don't really know how to move forward, or maybe I'm really not having a lot of success or good luck with moving forward with this new thing that I started, whatever. It's like 2 steps forward, 5 steps back is what it feels like. So you may be feeling individual frustration, but I kind of am sensing a voice of wisdom coming from your partnership that's, one, allowing you to be vulnerable and allowing you to be angry and allowing you to just have the feelings that you need to have right now in a more purging kind of way. Look, guys, yesterday, today, tomorrow, the next day, and the next day, if you are needing time to emotionally purge, please take it. It really is okay. You'll come out of the funk, probably like on the 10th. You'll probably start feeling like you're coming out of the funk. And you'll maybe start feeling like, okay, things can get back on track now, and I can feel motivated again, and I can, do whatever I need to do. I think that's a good thing. That's a good place to be. And your partner right now, I think they can just hold you. They can just talk to you. They can listen to you. They may not be, well, this is what you can do, and this is how to fix it. And I don't know that you would want that anyway, because you've been doing that for yourself for so long. But I do think they'll offer a lot of hope, which is what you may be needing right now. If you're feeling like desperate in any way, they may be able to kind of take away that feeling of desperation too. In fact, this may be a week where you feel over the moon grateful for a healthy relationship. You may be feeling really, really glad that you can go through this with somebody rather than doing it on your own. And I think that's good. And there may be some really healing aspects to the relationship right now with Chiron being involved in everything, which can reestablish trust. It can reestablish connection. It can bring the two of you closer together, because it's like it's okay for you to not be so strong. It sort of humanizes you, and it allows your partner to fall more deeply in love with the true and real you, and the aspect of you that is on this journey. I don't know. I'm not saying this may be vice versa as well. And I know I'm talking to you, but that's because you're the one reading or watching this. But if the roles are reversed, then that's also fine, because I know that you would have no problem being highly supportive of your partner either. And being able to be that safe haven or that safe space. The reason why you're not willing to go backwards, even though the temptation is probably very, very strong, is because your soul is calling you, and it's just not simply letting you. I think you're more determined to power through this than you are to sink back into a comfort zone that wasn't really serving you anymore. You worked so hard to get out of that comfort zone, so why would you go back? Even if things aren't going well, or if you're scared, or if things are kind of hitting the fan, and whatever the case is. See success in growth. Exactly. This is growing pains, what you're experiencing right now. It's not fun. It's not comfortable, but it is essential. And I think this is going to be really, really good for you and the partnership as a whole. I kind of feel like that one's wanting to come out. This journey is not about them. It's about you. Okay. Yeah. I do feel like this is more you. It's kind of that's kind of how I was gravitating with my conversation. But this is about you. It's about finding your own internal strength. It's about overcoming your own fear, overcoming your own feelings of inadequacy, and just finding that lion within, I think maybe you've been humbled by something, or you've been getting humbled multiple times. Maybe certain things have just kind of been, you've been feeling like you've gotten a little bit pummeled, because often I see a lot of grief and sorrow with that 5 of Cups. It's not an easy card to get. And you may be feeling like, well, where's the reward? Where's the reward? Like, why isn't the reward coming? While I don't see the reward in the cards this week, I do love the success and growth card, because it suggests that that's the way you're headed, even though you may not perceive it. Okay? All right. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much, pile number 3. I love and adore you. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody. This is the segment that is meant for singles and for those of you who are in situationships. So we have 3 piles. The first pile, we're using amethyst. Pile 2, we're using a red jasper. And pile 3, we're using celestite. So go ahead and take a moment, feel your way through the pile. Timestamps are in the description box and the comment thread down below, so you can quickly jump from pile to pile. And I'll see you in just a sec. All right, pile number 1, you guys selected the amethyst. So let's go ahead and take a look, see what comes through for pile 1 here. We have the Lovers, The Wheel of Fortune. Wow, beautiful major arcana coming out. So it seems to me like you are really, really, really ready for a deep, meaningful connection that is both passionate but also compatible and stable. Wheel of Fortune suggests that something incredible is likely on its way. Now, I don't like to use these singles readings to kind of like do the carrot on a stick thing where I like say, oh, well, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, like every week, oh, it's coming, it's coming. But sometimes there are sets of cards that I just cannot deny that something is coming your way. And I think you've had successful connections in the past. And when I say successful connections, I don't mean like that you ended up married and living the rest of your life together. But I think that if you look back, there was a lot that you gained from those partnerships. And it's likely that you've noticed throughout the course of your life that you've been kind of getting closer and closer and closer to the idea of the person that you ultimately want. Let's pull out the remaining 3 cards and let's just see what comes through. Seems like whatever signal you've been sending out, the universe has very clearly received. I feel like you've been on your own with that hermit for quite some time. You've been either totally single or maybe dabbling with dating a little bit here and there. If you're in a situationship, you may have felt like you're feeling very alone lately. I don't know, like if you're in a situationship, I don't know that you are going to like completely reconcile with your person. I feel with that page, there is something new on the horizon. Pages indicate new, fresh, exciting new beginnings. There's something pure and innocent and something unweathered about them. And I think that's what you're looking for, just something totally out of the box, completely new, something completely fresh, where you can go in with the wisdom, because I'm sensing that a lot of people here have been doing that spiritual work. You've been growing and healing and evolving so much that it's probably just been really hard to connect with certain people. And even if you do connect with certain people in terms of like, oh, you're going through a spiritual journey too, oh my gosh, so am I, but you're realizing like what an individualized experience that is. And so even though you may be meeting people who have been going through the same thing as you, it doesn't necessarily translate into a connection. Like just because you can have deep, meaningful conversations about the universe doesn't mean you're meant to be together forever kind of thing, right? And so what you're really seeking is the real, genuine connection with someone that's just natural. That it feels like you want them as much as they want you, and you're not trying to force anything, and nothing is happening out of desperation. And yes, you can have the passion, but you can also have the productivity as well, meaning the relationship is not just about the relationship. It's about two people coming together and building this like powerful force, this powerful creative force to go out into the world and to contribute beautiful things into the world, whether that's through something like children or building a business together or being prominent within the community or philanthropic efforts or whatever it is, and doing something that has an impact and doing something that really matters. I think you're looking for something with purpose beyond just a relationship, and the person that you're going to be attracting will be looking for that as well. I think people who are doing the work are starting to become weary of relationships that are so just like emotionally entwined. It becomes very exhausting, and you're not looking, while you're looking for connection and togetherness, you're not looking for full-on enmeshment and completely losing yourself in any sort of a relationship, right? So, you're so good on your own that the thought of even giving up even a remote aspect of yourself is just simply not an option for you. But the Page of Swords indicates that the breeze, let's just say that the breeze is flowing in your direction. Okay, it's coming towards you. And maybe that's all you need to know right now. And maybe you just needed that validation. Okay. See, listen. And you have been listening. That's what's so great about that card. You've been listening and you've been being guided in such a beautiful way. I feel like if you were to have a relationship right now, you would be really, really good at it. You'd maintain the boundary, but still be able to do the things that people in partnerships need to do. There's support, there's love, there's understanding, there's acceptance, there's belonging. To not only to accept that in your life, but to also create that for someone else as well. You've been so divinely guided on your path, and you now hold the wisdom. You now hold the key to healthy relationships. No one can see your light until you do, which I think is something you've been working on. Being able to see that beauty within yourself. We have the Lover, which is deeply rooted with the idea of beauty. You have this component of really feeling your worth and really feeling your contribution into something. Because it's not just about what they can give you. I think you've put a great emphasis on what you can do for them too. So I don't know. I think you're in a really good place. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, Pile 1. You know I love you. Have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right. Pile number 2. You guys selected the red jasper. So let's go ahead and take a look. The World. Okay. You may be having a difficult view of dating and relationships right now, maybe because of past experience, which we couldn't fault you for. I feel that there's this longing for ease in your life, but the thought of going out and trying to date and trying to have a connection and trying to work with somebody, it feels exhausting. It feels very tiring. It feels like what I'm really feeling, it's like, what more can I do? And I don't mean that in terms of how you're actually asking the universe, what more can I really do? It's almost like I would say more surrendered, like, what more can I do? You know, like I've done, look at all this, what I've done, look at what I've built, look at the life I'm leading, look at my, my track record, look, what else can I do? Now we are moving into a new era, and that's why I'm loving the World card coming out. We do have Pluto stationing direct right now. Well, basically, technically tomorrow, but he's going to be changing direction. We have all this Chiron activity right now. The sun is opposite Chiron. We have a full moon building on the 9th, which is going to be conjunct Chiron. We've got Venus in opposition with Chiron as well. And there's just this feeling that you need to take a pause right now. And maybe a long pause, maybe until next March when things start transitioning, right? Because we're going to have Pluto coming into Aquarius. We're going to have Saturn moving into Pisces. And just, it's like, well, I feel like things are kind of readjusting right now, and I just don't know how to really go about doing this. I think I'd rather wait until the energy settles a little bit. You seem very aware that the energy is unsettled right now. See, 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands. I mean, it's clearly like you feel, I'm getting a feeling of tiredness. You know, you want nothing more than to be, and I love that we have the World with the Fool, because it's about like being set free and beginning something new and having a completely open heart. I think that's really what you want. You know, you want to have an open heart, but you don't, you know, it's like maybe your perception right now, what you're seeing when you look out in the world of potentials, it's like it's just a mess. Where am I supposed to connect with the people that I can truly connect with? Where am I even going to find them? You know, and I know you have already put a great deal of faith in the universe right now in this particular department of your life. You've kind of given it up to the higher intelligence, and you're saying, okay, like higher intelligence, higher self, God, spirit, universe, however you want to refer to it as. You're in control now, because when I try to control things, I just get myself into a big old mess, you know, and I don't want to go through that again. I don't have the energy. I don't have maybe that's just it. I just don't have the energy. I don't have the mind to do it. The next relationship I have really needs to be one that brings ease and comfort and joy and love and connectedness and safety. Anything more than that, and I'm going to walk. You know, it's just, I feel that people's radars are so well attuned right now. Now, a lot of this has had to do with Chiron in Aries, really, since the past 4 years. It has had a lot to do with that, because we've had to really go deep within ourselves, you know, and we've had to set those boundaries for ourselves in terms of what we will and will not accept. But in terms of knowing that, we've had to recognize red flags, and then we've had to exercise walking away from the red flags that we don't have any desire to deal with or to work through with somebody. I feel like a lot of people really know who they are right now, and dating can be very challenging for those people. But with the Judgment card, it tells me that there is this promise that is lingering out there for you. It says, pile number 2, you're coming out of the darkness. You are going to be called up to some higher and greater situation in your life. That it's not all going to be like this, and it's not going to continue to be like this, that there is a respite, right? There's a break in this for you somewhere. Coming up soon. I don't think this is like, you know, really 6 months down the road. It's probably over just the next couple of months that you're going to see some kind of a shining beacon of hope somewhere. And you're going to be like, okay, I'm feeling much, much, much more optimistic about this. I'm feeling more like I want to put time and energy into it. I'm feeling more like I want to be available, like I want to be seen and adored and appreciated. And, you know, I'm liking that more. I feel like maybe you've been hiding away for a little too long, maybe keeping yourself up on a shelf. And while you may continue to do that for a little while longer, I don't know how much longer, this is you being called up out of your 10 of Swords place. You're kind of done sort of energy. With the Fool, I often see someone falling madly in love with the Fool, like a fool in love, you know? Like this cycle will likely break when that person shows up in your life, right? And for some of you, it may be a lot sooner than you think or realize, or maybe even want. Okay? Let's go ahead and pull out some oracle cards for you, and let's see what comes through. Refusing to see. Okay. The perspective is everything. It's really easy to look out into the world and be like, oh, I'm not going to be compatible with anyone. None of these people have been doing the work. Everyone is a mess. Blah. It's about changing your perspective. Because when we refuse to see how many wonderful, incredible people there are, we absolutely limit ourselves. And when we refuse to see possibility, and when we refuse to see love, it becomes more and more unattainable for us. And I feel like this Fool is more a breakthrough in perspective. It's more a breakthrough in your approach. Now, I do feel like maybe you needed to come into this period of compression for a reason. So I don't necessarily think that this is just you being in a pity party kind of mode. I don't think it's like that. I think it needed to happen in order for you to feel excited about the connection that comes in when it comes in, because it's going to offer that contrast. And you're going to start to realize that being open-hearted, being having a reciprocal situation, that's going to be a lot better than kind of being in your 10 of Wands, 10 of Swords sort of hole, right? So there is a freedom, there is a release that is coming for you. And it will be well received by you when it does come in. Crying is a part of healing. Let the tears flow. You know, it may be an emotional couple of days. Moon in Pisces is not easy. And when it comes conjunct Neptune, it is also not easy. But it's not even just that, it's the fact that we're also building up to a full moon conjunct Chiron, and Pluto is standing completely still. So there's just a lot of this like emotional underworld, illusions, healing, subconscious, deep, dark aspects of our psyche. It's just a lot of that stuff is just right there in our faces, requiring us to deal with it so that we can heal with it, right? We have to deal so we can heal. So if you are feeling a little emotional right now, that is absolutely okay. Please feel the emotion, because we don't want to repress it. We don't want to pretend like it's not there. We don't want to hide away from it. We do want to embrace it. We do want to allow it to leave our body, right? To leave our system so that we can, when the time is right, right, to really invite that goodness into our life. Okay? All right. I'm going to leave you with that, pile 2. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Talk to you soon. Take care. Hello, pile number 3. You guys selected the Celestite. So let's go ahead and take a look. See what comes through. Okay, I don't know why this came to my mind. Maybe this is Moon in Pisces energy today. I don't really know, but I was kind of getting the feeling of like knight in shining armor, right? Someone coming to the rescue with the 6 of coins, someone giving you this beautiful romantic gift, a big gesture, something like that. But then there's also this Queen of Swords with her back turned to that notion. And here she is, firm and strong and highly independent. And I feel like there's maybe this split within you that says, well, there's a part of you that really does want a relationship to just come in and sweep you off your feet and to change your life and make everything better. And there's a part of you that wants to believe that that's possible and actually does want that. And then there's the more realistic part of you that's like, you shouldn't be wanting that. You should be a lot more realistic. You should be able to take care of it on your own. You should. And she can be a little bit harsh, especially if she's rejecting something. So if she is rejecting or turning her back on the more magical components of life, you may be kind of beating yourself up a little bit too, saying, well, why won't I allow myself to want that? And it could be a little bit of a vicious circle or a vicious loop. I think that the goal here is to really find a way for both of these aspects within yourself to coexist, to be okay with the notion that, like, if someone were to come in and to change your life for the better and to be very helpful and romantic and wonderful, and you have this deep, meaningful connection that could actually bring you happiness, right? That's absolutely okay to want. But it is also okay for you to be strong and to be wise and to be someone that is intelligent and who can make good decisions on their own, right? Who's autonomous, that kind of thing. It's absolutely okay to have both and to want both. But if you're feeling like you're being split right now, Libra season is the best time to find reconciliation within ourselves. So how is the stability factor in your life? How stable are you? I'm wondering about financials. I know this is going to sound weird, but like money and love are often intrinsically connected. And if there's instability with financials, that could be, right? Because we know that money and self-worth are also intrinsically connected. So if there are financial issues, there may be issues with self-worth and deserving. And if those issues exist, then it may translate into not feeling deserving of love. And maybe the struggle is maybe there's someone out there, right? Here's like that savior, knight in shining armor quality is like, maybe there's someone out there who will come into my life and love me to a point where I truly begin to believe that I am worth it. And then your smart side says, no, that's not how it works. That's not how you should be thinking, right? And you're going to should yourself to death. And you're going to start to maybe lean a little too heavily on that Queen of Swords. In fact, I love the Queen of Swords normally, but I think she's doing you a really big disservice. Actually, both sides may be doing you a little bit disservice, but they're ultimately doing you a big favor together. It's like the disservice that they're doing in the short run is serving you a bigger favor in the long run. You have to know where to draw the line, because obviously there is no one person that's going to come in and all of a sudden magically make you feel worthy, right? That does have to come from within. And even if someone does come in and makes you feel great, the lack of worthiness may still come creeping out, and then all of a sudden you could self-sabotage the relationship because you don't feel worthy in that whole shebang, right? We know that whole storyline. But then on the other side, the Queen of Swords, it doesn't always all have to be all about you, and you don't have to do everything perfectly first on your own before you can let love into your life either. Otherwise, you'll probably spend your whole life healing and never actually move on. There has to be a middle ground here for you somewhere. Don't be harsh with yourself this week, because the planets, They may be getting a bit harsh with this full moon conjunct Chiron. It's not going to be easy. Pluto stationing direct, not easy. Moon conjunct Neptune today, not easy. All right. And then when the moon comes into a conjunction with Jupiter at the beginning of Aries, right, 2 degrees of Aries, when the moon comes in that conjunction, there can be an expansion of any instability. So I just think over the next couple of days, it will be a little bit of an emotionally unstable time. But if you do allow yourself to work through this stuff and to admit to yourself first and foremost kind of what's really brewing within you, that balance will be more organically restored. Okay, it's very hard for us to hide anything from ourselves right now. And even our most irrational desires, the things that we know, like someone coming and saving me, like we know that that's not how it really works, but you may still have that desire to a degree. I'm kind of even looking at that's like wanting someone to come in and take care of all the problems, right? Someone to come in and now all of a sudden you've got all this money and now all of a sudden you've got this love of your life and you've got this amazing family and you've got this amazing home because they were able to provide that for you, right? That's kind of like the fairy tale that I'm hearing. It's a very like Cinderella thing, right? Going from nothing to having everything type of thing. And we know that that's not always, I'm not saying it never works like that, but I'm saying probably is not going to really work like that. But you can have a little bit of that, but you're also going to have a little bit of the Queen of Swords too. That is independent, that is strong, that is honest, that is living a life that is truthful. But you don't have to be so harsh with the truth where you completely deny the magic. Stability will be found within the balance of both, and we see that with the Four of Wands. I do feel like you are moving, everybody, all the singles, I feel like you are moving towards something really incredible right now. You may not be able to perceive that, but something is building. A lot of single people are going to be getting into really good, healthy relationships. And it's because of the work you've done on yourself. Many of you have been single for a very long time. Many of you have been singles for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years, some of you longer. And so there's a lot of development that occurs through that extended period of time. And because of that, you're likely to attract someone who is on that same path and on that same journey. And when you come together, it can be a really beautiful, conscious connection. And there's not necessarily going to need to be a lot of sacrifices when that comes into your life. And you're not going to feel like you're losing any aspect of yourself, because I don't know that that's really what you want. Your Queen of Swords won't let you. She won't let you give up yourself. She won't let you lose yourself in a relationship ever again. But if there are any other struggles, financial especially, because we got that 5 of coins, but it could also be health, or it could be any other kind of frustrated aspect of your life. Clearing up that channel, which can be done through giving that aspect of your life attention, but clearing up that channel can also clear up the channel for both living a fairy tale and living in a truer reality, both. Okay? Let's go ahead and pull out a couple of oracles, see what comes through. Open up. Yeah, it is going to be important for you to open up to all the possibilities, open up to the magic. Sometimes we are afraid to ask the universe for things because we don't want to be too selfish, or we don't want to ask for too much, or we think it's ridiculous or stupid or silly, or feel like it's maybe childish. But I actually like the childishness right now. I think that's going to serve you very well. Okay, hold on. I think it's that first card. I feel like it's this one. Go somewhere special. They are always on your mind, no matter who you are with. Okay, I didn't really feel that card, but I flipped it over anyway. First of all, go somewhere special. Could be an actual physical location, but it could also be a meditative place, a magical place in your mind, a place where you are unhindered by the harsh realities of this world, And allow yourself to dream. No matter who you're with, they're always on your mind. I don't know why I'm getting like a Prince Charming quality, or, like a Disney princess type of thing. I'm very much getting fairy tale vibes right now. It's Moon in Pisces. I'm very much getting fairy tale vibes. To indulge in the fantasy of that. To indulge in the feeling that brings you. I don't see that there's anything wrong with that. I think maybe that Queen of Swords is being a little too harsh, and that it's okay to open up that aspect of yourself. Okay? All right, Pile 3, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. I love and adore you. Have a great week. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.